Good afternoon. I'd like to talk about Weissbier, and the reason being is the summer, and I'm finding that I'm really starting to enjoy having a Weissbier. And I've picked two out. I've picked them out from Lidl because Lidl and Aldi both have decent Weissbiers in. Now, you've got Lidl's own Patronus, which is £1.49 for a half-litre bottle, and then you've got Franziskaner Weissbier, which is available, I think it's about £2 a bottle. So let's see what, in terms of Weissbier, an extra 50p gets you. Now I'm giving the lesser of the Weissbiers the proper glass, because I've only got one Weissbier glass. I'm not that much of a connoisseur. And the closest to a Weissbier glass, in that it's fairly tall and fairly narrow, is this, which is generally used for IPAs, I think. But, well, I use it for IPAs, for what it's worth. So both these beers, I'll do the rundown of strength is and what we can expect. So in terms of the colour, the Patronus is more straw-like. There is more orange colour. Let's see if I can hold it properly. To the Franziskaner. So the Franziskaner looks better quality, although this one is holding on to its foam pretty well. That one as well. Now, Patronus, lovely bottle for a cheap Weissbier. Really looks classy. So like I say, 500ml bottle. It's 5%. Franziskaner from Munich since 1363. Another really lovely looking bottle, and that's 500ml, 5%. With the Patronus, you get the Weissbier aroma, which is a bit of banana and a bit of kind of the clove end of spiciness, and it's fairly subtle. Let's have a taste on this. Oh, that's lovely. It's all those things. It tastes a little bit marmaladey, and it's got a nice kind of fresh, zesty finish to it, which that spice, that clovey spice, comes into its own, because it kind of clears off your palate. So I'm going to give the Franziskaner the equivalent now. Now, I was expecting the aroma to be stronger off this. It isn't. It's a slightly less of an aroma, I'm finding, but it's a deeper aroma than the Patronus. There's more sweetness. It does smell more marmaladey. But you also get the banana. Good health. There's a difference. This is smoother. There's not much in terms of the flavour. You can tell, though, this is better quality. That's not to criticise Patronus too much, because you get a bit more in. Because the further down you get in a bottle of Weissbier, you get closer to the stronger flavours, because it does tend to settle to the bottom of a bottle, which is another really nice thing about drinking a Weissbier, is that as you're drinking it, it develops. It doesn't just stay the same. You know, you have a lager, and nearly all of them are identical from the top of the glass to the bottom of the glass in terms of flavour. Well, a Weissbier, especially with a smaller glass, by the time I get down that, I'll be drinking the bottom of that bottle. It'll be stronger. That is really nice. Really nice. But it's a bit lacking towards the back end. It kind of like feels a little bit watered down by comparison to this, the Franziskaner. The flavour of that is more consistent all the way through, and it's got a much smoother finish. And then the finish develops a bit into the palate cleansing spiciness, bit of pepperiness to both of them at the back end. It's a no-brainer for me this year to be drinking Weissbiers. I, as anyone who's viewed this will know, mainly buy my beer in Lidl. The reason being, Lidl has, for me, the best core range of beers if you know what you're buying. And if you know what you fancy, because sometimes you fancy an ale, sometimes you fancy a lager, they cover all bases on the kind of like lower end. So your fridge filler beers, Lidl is the best for me. They also have a couple of other ales, which will generally be a little bit pricier than their own stuff. So their own ales are perfectly serviceable, but then you'll have things like Proper Job available in there, which is very good beer indeed. I did want to mention their beer festival this time out as well, because the beer festival's up and running. It's been going since Thursday. If you get the chance to get down there, get down there. What is different about this beer festival, massively different, is that previous ones had a selection of craft beers from the UK. This beer festival doesn't. It's Green King and Brewdog based are the UK beers, and I don't think there's another available one-off British beer there. However, what they've done this year is, because clearly the price is not right for them to be doing that, craft beer has had to increase in price, so they can't do it as cheap as Lidl would like them to this time out. But they've gone bigger with the European beers that they've got in. So there are some fantastic Belgian beers, as usual with Lidl when they do a special. They've also got their wheat beer and the Fest beer as part of their Alpine week. It's all in the same place, all in the specials aisle. And the Belgian beer, they've also got a Leffe Brun, which I'm going to be trying later and hopefully putting my thoughts up on here. It's because Leffe, the stuff that you get in the supermarkets, they've dropped the ABV, they've changed the recipe, they've done what they do with British available mass-produced beer with a continental badge on it. You know, any of the Spanish beers that have got Spanish badge on that are brewed in the UK are horrendous. When you consider them to their continental counterparts. Well, a Belgian beer, Leffe, is the same, but the Leffe Brun is imported, so it is Belgian Leffe. And I've very little to say other than that at the moment. But it promises to be good. And they've got some Abbey de Vauclair stuff in there at the moment, which is always really, really good. So get down to the Lidl Beer Festival. There's always something for everyone. And yeah, your good health. I'm going to enjoy these Weissbiers. I may put a little postscript up, actually, about when I get to the bottom of these bottles, which is a little way off yet, about half an hour at least, I'll record my thoughts on how the flavours developed. I'm back with my thoughts on the tail end of the Weissbiers. Like I said, I've left exactly the same amount in each bottle and absolutely ruined it. I'm in too much of a rush. But hopefully that'll settle by the time I'm more sensible with this one. Just right down the bottom of the bottle. Proper swirl around. And I'm not hoping, I know what's going to happen. When you see from the bottom of the bottle, first it was kind of like hazy, and now it's full on cloudy. It's got more of the sediment in there. Let's see what this one tastes like. Franziskaner, by the way. Yeah, it's way more pronounced. It was lovely to begin with, it's lovely now. But whereas at first it was kind of like the flavours were much more subtle, now they're full on. And it's really nice. Light beer as well. It's not like, it doesn't sit heavy at all. That's fantastic. I can't see Patronus getting anywhere near it, to be honest. Because I have had it before. I do like it. But there's a big difference, is at the end of the beers. The colour is definitely deeper. Although the glass makes it lighter because it's narrower there. But the colour on that's definitely deeper. And this seems to just be a little bit thinner. What the heck though, you know? Really nice. In fairness, the ending of this is better. It's the biggest difference really, because the quality tells, and this is more consistent, although it started off good and it's ended really good. This one is still, at the back end, a little thinner, a little bit more watery. But it's really good. For the price, £1.49, £2. Go and get yourself some of Germany's finest beer. It's lovely stuff. It doesn't give you a bad head because there's nothing in the way of additives in it, nothing like that. Pure, lovely, lovely beer. Look, well done if you made it to the end of this long old vid.